You know that feeling I get when we do a super exciting lesson? Guess what? I'm getting it again. Dividing polynomials is another one of those like quirky fun things that we only do in Algebra 2. And we use it to see if something is a factor of a polynomial. So we're going to use long division and also synthetic division. So hopefully you remember how to do like long division from elementary school. But I'm also going to teach you another way that's a lot faster, a lot easier, but can also be more complicated if you don't grasp it in the beginning. So for our objectives, we're going to be answering the question, by dividing polynomials, how do we know if a factor is the solution of a polynomial? And we're also going to divide using long division and then using synthetic division. So using long division, we're going to divide 4x squared plus 23x minus 16 by x plus 5, and then what is the quotient and the remainder. So I went ahead and here we go. So I got it started. So just like when we do long division, we need to find what number times, except we're just going to look at this x, makes 4x squared. Well, obviously, 4x times x makes 4x squared. So we're going to write that above the x column, like terms above like terms. So we're going to multiply 4x times x, get 4x squared. We're also going to multiply 4x times plus 5, and that is plus 20x. Now, just like when we do long division, like if we had 105 divided by 5, 5 times 10, or 5 times what makes 10? 2. 5 times 2 is 10. And we write it down here. What do? We subtract it. Okay, so we need to subtract it. But we don't just subtract the first one. We subtract both of them. How about I write this in a different color so you can easily see it. Subtract, subtract. So I have 4x squared minus 4x squared, which is 0. That was our goal, so that's good. And then I have 23x minus 20x. That leaves us with 20x. 3x, sorry, take away the 20x. And then we bring down that minus 16. So now I'm going to look at this x again. X times what makes 3x? Well, that's a plus 3. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. That's a positive 15. But now we need to, just like we did over here, we subtracted. So we need to subtract both of them. So those are going to cancel, those 3x's, and then I get a minus 31. So when I divide 4x squared plus 23x minus 16 by x plus 5, I get 4x plus 3 minus 31. So that means my factors, this is the exciting part. So that means my factors of 4x squared plus 23x minus 16 are x plus 5 and 4x plus 3 minus 31. It's so fantastic, isn't it? So is x plus 5 a factor of 4x squared plus 23x minus 16? Well, if we didn't have a remainder, it would be a solution, but we have a remainder, so is it a solution? No, it is not a solution. It's not a real number anyway. So there's our remainder 31, so we can check our answer by multiplying those two together and then subtracting our remainder, because it was, negative 31. And when you go ahead and you FOIL those and you subtract the 31, you get back our original 4x squared plus 23x minus 16. It's so very exciting. Alright, so checking factors. Is x squared plus 1 a factor of 3x to the 4th minus 4x cubed plus 12x squared plus 5? Alright, I'm going to make a note right here. Make sure before you divide, your polynomial is in standard form and you have all x values accounted for. So for example, if, in this one, we don't have an x value. So we need to add in between here somewhere plus 0x, and I'm going to put it in between these two so it's in standard form. So we don't have an x value, but we have to account for an x value because we're going to get an x somewhere along the line. Alright, so what we're going to do is C, do we have a remainder of 0 when we divide this? So not only do you need to put the x in, well, you don't necessarily have to put the x in your divisor, but you need to put it in your dividend. Isn't that what you call it? Dividend? I don't know. Okay, so x squared times a what makes 3x to the 4th? 3x squared. So I'm going to write that above our x squared, so we have same. So multiply, I get 3x to the 4th, and then plus 0x cubed, and then plus 3x squared. Now what do? Change all the signs. So minus, minus, minus. So my 3x to the 4th cancel, and I get negative 4x cubed. That's a minus, so plus 9x squared, bring down the 0x. Okay, so x squared times what makes negative 4x cubed? Minus 4x. So that's negative 4x cubed minus 0x minus 4x. Take and change all of our signs. Hey, I just noticed when we change the signs, this makes Sully. How many of you watch Monsters, Inc.? I love Monsters, Inc. Okay, 9x squared plus 4x, bring down the 5. So x squared plus what makes a 9? That would be a 5. So 5 times x, pardon me, that would be a 9. There we go. 9x squared plus 0x, a plus 9. Okay, and then take and change all of our signs. Minus, minus, minus. So those cancel, and I'm left with 4x plus 4. So when I divide 3x to the 4th minus 4x cubed plus 12x squared plus 5 by x squared plus 1, I get 3x squared minus 4x plus 9 with a remainder of 4x plus 4. So, is this a factor? It is not, because in order for it to be a factor, you must have your remainder equaling 0. If remainder does not equal 0, it is not a factor. Alright, here's another one. Decide if it's a factor. So we use the factor theorem to determine if this is a factor. So what we do is we say if it's a factor, then we're going to go ahead and say it's equal to 0. So x equals 2. So we're going to plug in 2. So 2 to the 5th minus 32. Well, 2 to the 5th is 32, and 32 minus 32 is 0. So this should be a factor. So we're going to use our long division to find what the other factors are. So if you go ahead and do x to the 5th minus 32, so x to the 5th plus 0x to the 4th plus 0x cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 32, and I divide that by x minus 2. Okay, so I have x to the 4th, that makes x to the 5th minus 2x to the 4th. So I get negative 2x to the 4th. Hold on. It's 2. Positive, negative, positive. So positive 2x to the 4th plus 0x cubed. That means I need a plus 2x cubed to make a 2x to the 4th minus 4x cubed. Subtract, add. So I get 4x cubed plus 0x squared. I need a plus 4x squared. Let's see, that makes a 4x squared and a negative 8x squared, but we add it. So I get positive 8x squared. And let's see, I need a plus 8, and that makes 8x squared minus 16. Okay, negative 8x, there we go, 16x, so positive 16 16x, so I need a plus 16, so that makes it 16, and then I subtract that, and a negative 32, but I add it, positive 32, remainder is 0. Whew, that took some work. But I got a remainder of 0, so look at that, guys. It makes this lovely thing with a remainder of 0, so that means, you know, that we could factor this. Doesn't that look like fun? That looks like so much fun. So what we're going to do is, nope, not factor it. Apparently, they just wanted us to leave it just like that, and it's beautiful. Yep, determine if it's factor off. Find okay, that is the other factor. So, hooray, that was fun. Alright, and lastly we're going to learn synthetic division. So in order to do synthetic division, what we do is we take and we reverse the sign of the x plus 2 and we make it a negative 2, and then we write the coefficients of our polynomial. So we write, instead of x cubed minus 4x squared plus 51x minus 54, we write 1, negative 14, 51, negative 54. So we put that down here and put that negative 2 like in a box thing. And then second, we bring down the first coefficient. So we bring the 1 straight down. And then we multiply the coefficient by the divisor and we add it to the next one. So we brought, and then we continue multiplying and dividing till the end. So we bring the 1 straight down, and then we multiply negative 2 times 1, that makes negative 2. And then we write that underneath our next coefficient. So negative 14 minus 2 is negative 16. Then we multiply negative 2 times negative 16, that makes positive 32. So then we write 32 under the 51, we add those together, 83. Then we multiply the 83 by negative 2 and write it underneath the 54, makes negative 166, so negative 122. So our quotient, each one of these, since they started with an x cubed here, and we divided it, this now becomes x squared, so it's each one less power. This is x, and this is our constant, and this right here, what's left is our remainder. So we get x squared minus 16x plus 83, remainder of negative 120, or 220. There we go. So that's how we do synthetic division. So I'm going to go ahead and do one with you, because these are so much fun, guys. Just, you don't understand how much fun these are. Okay, so here's our polynomial, and we're going to divide it by x minus 7. So the first thing we do is we change the sign. Instead of x minus 7, we're going to do a plus 7 and put it in a little box. Now we have to take all our coefficients, and just like last time, we have to count for everything. So I'm going to write this x cubed plus 0x squared minus 57x plus 56. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the coefficients of all of these and write them down here. So 1, 0, negative 57, 56. I'm going to draw a line. First thing we do is we bring the 1 straight down. So 1 is here. Now we take 7 times 1, that's 7, and I write it under the 0. Add straight down, 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Negative 57 plus 49 is negative 8. So write that here. Negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. 0. So we divided x cubed minus 57x plus 56 by x minus 7, and what we got was x squared plus 7x minus 8. There is no remainder, so that means x minus 7 is a factor of our polynomial. Isn't that exciting? It's so exciting because math is super fun. Alright, and then this is just using synthetic division to solve a problem. So volume is length times width times height, and they give us one of them. So they want us to take and divide and find the other two. So once you divide it, you get a polynomial that you can then factor, and it factors into x plus 6, or x plus 8, x minus 6. And so then you just plug them in. Solve each one. There you go. Alright, so there's your homework. Also, we have a quiz coming up, so make sure you study for that. Be prepared, ask questions. Polynomials are super fun, but they're going to take a little bit of work and a lot of paying attention and knowing what you're doing.